and welcome or welcome back. My name is Amelia and I'm going to be your host of MeMH today. Well, and every day, but thank you once again for tuning in and spending some time with me today and gabbing about my knitting and my general craftiness. I probably have noticed that it has been about 3 weeks since I have recorded, and I tried so hard not to let my family well, that's a really silly thing to say, but I tried so hard to schedule my time out properly so that the kids being out of school wouldn't influence the recording schedule, because I really want to keep this consistent and so people aren't waiting. But my kids being out of school and this summer being unseasonably warm has just been a little hard for me to record. I did try and get up and record really early this morning, which I'm going to try and start doing from now on, but we bribed my son to sleep in his own bed last night. He's almost 4, and yes, he still sleeps with us. I think I touched on that last episode a bit with ice cream, and so he woke up at 6:30, super excited to go to McDonald's and get an ice cream cone when he typically doesn't wake up till about 9. So that is why I didn't get it done this morning. And then this afternoon it's been like a little bit more bribing. Wonderful parenting, I know, right? A little more bribing to get them to just sit on the couch and give me 20 to 25 minutes of quiet to do this. I doubt that they'll be quiet that long, so if not, we might have a few little visitors, and we all know that I'm so great at editing these things, so I might not be able to edit that out, but we'll just roll with it. I don't know if you can tell, because I certainly can. The quality's not that great, but I am still recording on my MacBook. And this really upsets me because I got this a couple weeks ago. And yes, it sucks that I'd be able to show it to you as opposed to being able to use it, but it is a Canon Rebel EOS T6. And I'm super excited about it. I'm really liking getting into digital photography because I needed another hobby, like I needed another hole in my head. But I've been reading about it, doing some research, but apparently just not enough research. I didn't realize that the memory card that I have in here, which let me show you what one it is. I got a big memory card, I thought. It's 32 gigs. But it's just a regular memory card. It doesn't want to record anything longer than like a minute and 20 seconds. So I probably have done this about 6 or 7 times. If my intro is super screwed up, that's exactly why. Because I really wanted to record that. It looks so wonderful on that camera, and it's probably not as nearly as annoying as my computer, but such is life. I just didn't want to put it off any longer to go out and get a new memory card. So that's that. I am, of course, drinking coffee today, because do I drink anything else? No. It's in my Tennessee mug today. I didn't get it. My husband went away this week and didn't get me a new mug because he said he couldn't find a Starbucks in Iowa. Like, not the whole state of Iowa, but wherever he was. He works with farm equipment, so they're usually in a pretty desolate. I knew we'd be interrupted by somebody eventually. That was my oldest daughter, who wasn't even supposed to be home, that interrupted me. But anyway, we will move on. I was going to show you some of my finished objects this week. I had, at the beginning of the summer, I'd really lost my knitting mojo. I thought that I was going to sit at the pool and knit with my kids. Not knit with my kids, like, while they were swimming, I was going to knit and everything was going to be great, but it's been so hot here. I don't know if it's hot everywhere, but like, in May, it was like 35 degrees Celsius. I think that's like 90 something. That's unheard of. And it has been consistently that hot. Up until about this week, it's rained a few times. It's still really hot. But anyway, we've literally been spending like 4 or 5 hours at the pool every day just to get some relief from the heat, and I've been in and out of the water, and so I just, with the kids, I'm not quite old enough to swim by themselves yet, but I thought that they would at least splash around in the kiddie pool or the splash pad and I can knit, but no, they want to be in the big pool. So I'd really lost my mojo. And then, because we all know how much of a fan I am of Lauren over at Lolo Did It, I really needed to finish my hippos because the cows are starting to end for the hippo for Cinco and Mom and Dad. So I did, my one finished object is none of the above, of course. I finished my reknit of, I showed these I think on the first episode, but this is my reknit, they need to be blocked clearly, of Hippo for Valentine's Day. This is the second time I knit this. The first time I did it, it was the first time I had used an Addy Turbo, and so it was a 1.5, a US 1.5, 2.25 millimeters. And I did my regular stitch count, and it just wasn't working, especially not with the Fish Lips Kiss heel. So I did have to reknit that because the stretching on the heel, I had worn them. They were blocked and sewn in, and I had worn them once, and I was trying to love them so that I wasn't going to make myself reknit them. I just couldn't love them. The heel was stretching far too much, and I felt like I was just going to completely wear through the heel, and I love the yarn too much for that to happen. So what I did was I reknit them, and I purchased a little Lolo in the color Wonka to go a stripe in the cuff, contrasting heel and toe. So all said and done, this is a 72 stitch sock. When I knit on a 1 or a 1.5, I do 72 stitches. I am a very, very tight knitter. I feel like 72 stitch sock is quite unheard of. Most people do 36, well not 36, but 64. I even hear a lot of people doing 56 stitches, or knitting on, a friend of mine knits, I believe, less than a 64 stitch sock on a size 0. That's just how tight my gauge is. I have to do a gauge swatch for absolutely everything I knit because I could never knit a pattern in the size of needle that they recommend. So anyway, that is my first finished object since I got my knitting mojo back. Second, once again, is a sock. I haven't had too much energy to do anything quite bigger than socks, and I really, really just want to get them finished. I was trying to tuck these in before you could see them, but I don't have the ends on either of these tied in, so I don't know if that's actually considered a finished object or not, but let me do that quick. Here is my Oi with the Poodles already by Nomadic Yarns. And once again, just a plain vanilla sock, and I'm really upset once again about doing this on my MacBook because you're not getting the true color of this sock, but oh well, it is what it is for today, I guess. So the only difference with these socks from my regular sock is I did an afterthought heel on this. It is not a true afterthought heel. I do, what's that? Scrap yarn? I do a scrap yarn. I found a really good tutorial on YouTube for a no gap in the corners, and I think I will have to, if I can find it again, well, I hope I can find it again, I really liked it, post the link to it because it worked really well. I did it on the second sock, but not the first, and you can certainly see on the first sock the gap that I do have from that. I don't know if I can focus in there. So anyway, I still love them. The reason I did an afterthought heel, I do an afterthought heel with all of my striped socks because I don't want to disrupt the stripe sequence here. I love that it's just so seamless. The heel is just, it's perfect. If I don't do, if I'm going to do a contrasting color, then I will just go ahead and do a fish lips kiss heel or a heel flap or something of that nature. And I don't worry about the afterthought heel, but I do like doing them. It's actually kind of fun. So the reason I don't have my ends tied in, and I don't know if anybody else does this, but I pretty much, when I'm in like a sock, like when I'm really into knitting socks, I will pile them up and put on a really good movie and just spend a night weaving in ends. And I don't know why, but I kind of enjoy that. It's almost like ticking things off. So that's all I have for finished objects in knitting anyway. I have a couple of whips, and they are, surprise, surprise, they're hippos. And I'm really sorry if you're like totally sick of looking at my hippos, but I am putting these all into the cowls. I'm loving doing it, and then I'm double dipping into box of socks, which is because she basically has a hippo every month or 2 a month. I'm getting the requirements for my box of socks done and my sock bash from, oh my gosh, Tracy and Jody, Grocery Girls. I did not get this finished in May though. But, oh well, thus is life. That's when I really, really lost the mojo. But now I am back on and trucking. So not only do I have a whip, I have a hoe, or an HO, whatever you want to call it. This is my hippo for Cinco. And it is obviously not finished in time for Cinco de Mayo. But that's a fish lips kiss heels. It always looks so funny from that perspective, unless it's on a soft blocker, which, surprise, surprise, I don't have again yet because I'm not the best at this, clearly. I can't edit, I can't get my camera to work, and I forget stuff. But, long story short, that is the one finished sock. And I have the leg of the second sock. And it's the same sock I knit all the time. Can you hear them? They're having fun. I rarely ever digress from my plain vanilla sock. I don't, unless it's a stripe, I guess. Because, and if it's a stripe, I pretty much stick to just vanilla latte. Or is that what it's called? Yeah, vanilla latte. Because I love the way the plain, without the ribbing or the patterning, just shows off the speckle yarn. And I always have all these desires to do a different sock with a nice pattern, and then I start looking at the yarn, and I'm just like, no, I really want to show it off, and I never get to that point. So basically, that is where I'm at for Hippo for Cinco, and the deadline to get that done for the cowl is June 30th, so I'm pretty much on track. It does not take me very long to knit a sock. A sock, not a pair, a sock. So we're there. But this is the one I'm really, really trying to pump out, and I'm not going to be done on time for Father's Day, but thus is life. My lucky husband here gets his own hippo, and this is Hippo for Dad, and oh, is that focusing a little better? We get a better color there? There, much better. The sun is trying to peek its way out of here and give me some natural light, but we'll see. So this is Hippo for Dad. And I am doing, for my husband, I always do a heel flap and gusset. He likes the look of the fish lips kiss heel, as do I, but they don't fit him. And if anybody has any advice on how to remedy that, that would be so appreciated, but they don't fit him. I don't know if it's his instep is way too high. It stretches like to the limits of the sock. Not that he doesn't like his socks nice and tight, because he does. I knit a 72 stitch sock for him as well, so that's how he likes them. Alright, let's try this for the third time. Well, it's probably like the 20th time, but anyway. My daughter was just overreacting a little bit. It wasn't so bad. He just had a marker. He has a mustache now, but he just had a marker. So anyhow, my blubbering, gosh, I can't get words out today. I don't know what's going on with me. But anyway, so I'm really up, like, this sucks because I really like this color. Yeah, and it's not for me. It's for my husband. He gets one hippo out of the set. Oh well, I might order another one. It's about to retire. I was thinking maybe I'll order one before it does retire. But I am doing the contrast heel in Coal Miner's Daughter. In order for it to be in the cal, it has to all be Lolo did it, which I'm totally fine with. I love her colors. I don't think like I said, I don't think I'm gonna get these done by Sunday. I'm trying, but basically, because this is how I got my mojo back, I have been taking 2 needles, and I'm not doing more than 2 because that'll get too crazy for me, and I will not do it. I will get like overwhelmed again, put them down. But I've been knitting a cuff of one sock, a cuff of the other, a leg of one sock, a leg of the other, heel, heel, and consecutively doing that. And I've been doing 2 different socks. I haven't been doing the same sock because I don't like to cut my yarn balls in half. I really love to use my yarn scraps, which is another reason why I do order the everyday sock, because I really, really like to use the scraps and do either scrappy socks or put them into scrap blankets. And so when they're into 2, it's too much if I run out extra ends, etc. So this one I did say last week that I ended up ordering Lolo's favorite. It's a mutt. It's soft. It is wonderfully soft. And I did remember I did talk about how I was worried about having the different bases because I am going to make a scrappy pair of socks. But then I thought about it that I'm doing all of the heels in different bases, and you can't tell. Like, you really can't. Like, this is the Lauren's favorite, and this is everyday. And then my Easter socks are the plush sock, and I didn't do a contrasting heel on that, but when you put them all together, I honestly can't. The stitch definition doesn't look. They feel different. That's true, but it's a stripe. It's gonna be about 1 inch. I don't see that being a huge issue. They feel different, but they don't look different. I don't feel like, I think I was worried at first it was going to be like a chunk of my sock that was like 2 times the size of the other one, but then I got thinking about how I do the heels, and that's never been the case. So, last thing for whips, someone reminded me of this last night. I had worn my blue sand cardigan yesterday. Words are escaping me. Last podcast, and I have started another one. But I started this time, maybe a few weeks later than this time. This weekend last year, we were moving to Illinois from Detroit, so it wasn't really knitting anything crazy, but I started this. And then I'm gone in the frame. I don't know where I am. But I stopped knitting it, and I don't know if I touched on this, but I stopped knitting it, and this is why. Like, this is so silly. I put this pocket in. Love this pocket, by the way. And like I just said about my gauge and all of that business, I did not go up a needle size. I went with what the pattern recommended because I couldn't remember what I had done with my first blue sand cardigan, which is why you should always make wonderful notes. But anyway, I didn't go up a needle size. And then this is the result of not going up that needle size. It is nowhere near as long as it needs to be. So, and this is so lazy that, like, literally all I have to do is pick, like, I guess I could take the whole pocket out and start it again, or just pick up these live stitches, like, they're on waist yarn and everything, and knit it longer. And I didn't want to do that. And I don't know why as knitters we do this. We knit all of this craziness. And because this pocket is like 4 rows too short to reach for the 3 needle bind off, I just decided not to finish it. And then I needed the needle for my Pure Joy. So I put all these stitches on waste yarn. And I don't want to pick them back up. Like, once again, all this work, and I just don't want to put stitches back on a needle. So I think that I am not going to let myself start my Sew Faded until I finish this. So that's why I pulled it out today. And I don't know, maybe we'll fix the pocket today. I will show it to you. Oh my gosh, I'm wearing, I didn't think I was going to stand up. I'm wearing really ugly drag pants out of frame. But anyway, it's a little longer than I would like, but I am not about, like, the pockets are great. And I think that that's actually the way the pattern wants it, is that long, because I feel like that's how long my last one was. And anyway, this is Knit Picks Cotton, and I'm going to try and get that finished in the next couple of weeks here. So hopefully that will be a finished object, and then I can start casting on, or at least winding the yarn and casting on for my Sew Faded. And then, so as I was just saying, taking great notes while knitting. That is something that you really should do, especially if you want to repeat a pattern. And so, not so great at that, and I'm trying to get better, especially because, you know, sometimes you put down a pattern and then, or a project, and you're in the middle and you just like, I'm gonna have to rip this out because I have no idea what needle was on. I have no idea where it was in the pattern, what's going on. So I started this. I got a sketchbook, Hobby Lobby, and I got a sketchbook because I liked the coil on the blank paper. But this is what I have started doing. My February sock is not all in here because I tore it out and restarted it. But I have started, this is just some washi tape. I thought I'd make it a little bit pretty if I could. But just writing down, like, we have the 72-inch stitch inch. Why do I do that all the time? 72 stitch sock, a 20 row cuff. I put these arrows here because I wanted to do how many rows I did for the color stripe I did in that one. My fish lips kiss heel, put 12 stitches in the middle. And I also wanted, and then the Wonka. Another good reason for doing this is if you do have a sock that you really like wearing, then you can revert back. Because, you know, you spend so much time trying to find that perfect sock recipe. So if you look back, you're like, well, I really don't like the width of this heel. Be like, okay, I did 12 stitches in the middle. So next time, I just have to do a few less or a few more or whatever the case may be. And then this is how I want to really do this. So here we have the notes. And then I've taped in the ball bands. I lost the ball band for the other one. And then I put a little bit of the scrap yarn down here so that A, I can see it, B, if it needs to be darned, it's there. Moving on, and then there's my Pure Joy, and there's the ball bands. And then here's where I kind of lost steam because I kind of lost my mojo for knitting socks in general. There's my hippo for Easter, and I know I have that ball band somewhere. I thought it was in here, to be honest. And then my pavement sweater, and then here is from the Lemonade Shop, the yarn tag, and then my May sock, which was nomadic yarn, so I really gotta fancy this one up a little bit and continue journaling a little bit more. And then my June sock, which is the Hippo for Dad that I'm working on at the moment. And then do I have, Hippo for Zinco. Started that in there, but I haven't gotten anywhere past that. So anyway, it's kind of fun. I like looking back at it. It's a good progress keeper of all my projects. So that's that. That's all I have for knitting today, but I do have a little bit of sewing. Just a small amount. I find it so hard to sit down at my sewing machine. Like knitting, I feel like I can get in one row, and like even if I'm just chilling there, I can take it in the car. It's easy to sit in front of the TV, especially if the kids are relaxing or coloring or drawing or crafting or whatever. Sewing, I feel like it needs my full focus. And I also feel really guilty if I don't have my house stuff done starting a sewing project, because it typically takes me a while because I screw up a lot. So anyway, what I did this week is my kids are always complaining about pajamas. I don't know if you find the same thing, but as kids get older, I find it so hard to find pajamas in their size. Like they don't have pajamas at Carter's for like 10 to 12-year-olds. And we like to keep things appropriate in this house. My kids will tell you how much they hate their one-piece bikinis, or swimsuits. But so I got this quick sew pattern from Hobby Lobby, and I'm not doing the whole 9 yards. I can't do that. There's piping. But I am doing the shorts. And I'm really hoping that I can wrangle my mother-in-law, who's really good at garment sewing, into helping me do the tops. The only thing is I'm going to have to buy another pattern because I cut out the size. My girls wear the same size shorts, which is wonderful for me. So I cut out the pattern, so I can't make anything else with. Well, I can make the shirts. I can't make any more pants because I cut the shorts out. But here is the finished object, one pair. Anyway, and I did do a double hem here, and this is what I mean by I screw things up. I did a double hem here, if you can see it, because I did the first hem down here, and then this was flapping so much. What the heck? Anyway, yeah, that was flapping off so much, so I had to do another line of sewing. And when I did the second line of sewing, the tension on my machine went haywire, of course, because the kids wanted dinner, so why wouldn't something go wrong? It went haywire. I had to rip the entire thing out and sew it back in, and so that's why now we have lovely imperfections everywhere, which is the name of my game. The elastic too, it's not perfect. I'm really trying to get there, but it's not perfect because they definitely did a different way of sewing in the elastic on this pattern than I've ever done before. It was like with when the shorts were inside out, you put the elastic around it and then folded it down instead of like sewing a casing and threading the elastic through. That was definitely new for me. So anyway, I did it. I completed a pair of shorts. Let's see if they stay together. My kids have been dying to wear them. They've just been sitting here on my table. I'm like, no, you can't wear them until I podcast them. So they're probably happy I'm finally getting this done. So I just had, these are just a couple things of flannel that I have had lying. Literally, I think I bought this flannel when I went on a pajama pant making craze a while back from Joann's. When it goes on sale for $2.99, I do tend to stock up because flannel's great. So I'm going to make a few more shorts for them for the summer and just get some tank tops for them to wear with that. And then this is something that I am dying to make for myself. Look at that pockets. So cute. So now that I got a little bit of pajama pant sewing under my belt, I'm going to give this a go. It does take a bit more fabric. I think it almost takes 3 to 5 yards or something like that for my size. So I really wanted to be sure that I knew what I was doing. I had some practice under my belt before I gave this one a go, but I'm really, really excited about this one. So hopefully by the next time I podcast, I'll have this for you, because I think it would be so fun to wear with like a shawl, or like a tank top and a shawl or cropped sweater to church. As far as my crafting goes, I made I showed you the fabric from my daughter's window seat cover, so I finished that. I can't really record it, but maybe I can get a good photo of it, and if I figure this editing thing out, I just end up getting so frustrated with it that, which I have to figure it out. It's really important. I have to step this game up a bit. I understand that. I need to get some show notes going. I need to get some consistency in recording and editing and get that all worked out, and so that I can be able to take some pictures of some things and slot them in for you. So I did finish the window seat benches. My daughter loves them. They look really, really good. We did those with the printed duck fabric. It was striped, and so hopefully I can get a picture of that and get that in. When her room is totally finished, I will video it and insert it into the video, because I am going to get this editing thing under wraps. Other than that, I need to sew some pillows this week for that window seat, and my kids want some pajamas, so I'm just really gonna hustle and see what I can get done for you next week. So thank you for taking the time and sitting with me, and if you stayed the whole time, thank you so much for dealing with my kids being home. I'm trying really hard to keep it professional, but to keep it real. Like, this is my life. I don't usually get a half an hour to just sit somewhere unless my husband has the kids or they go to school, and then I get an hour to myself. But anyway, thank you so much and have a wonderful day.